This XRP bull run has the entire space in full panic, including those that hold XRP, because we're actually finally watching this thing take off as it approaches all-time highs once again. But who's really freaking out and sweating bullets right now is the rest of the space, including the Bitcoin maxis, who think that Bitcoin's going to solve all the world's problems, the Ethereum gang, who thinks that, they're always going to be in that number 2 spot, they're always going to have that leading smart contracts platform, and those who think that XRP can't surpass either one of those two as we start to creep up, right? We already got rid of the Solana and the VCs, and the degens have now left Solana. They're all coming to XRP now. So like I said, the rest of the space is in full panic, and it's really causing these guys to come out of the woodworks to spread XRP FUD. So in today's video, we're going to address some of this FUD myself, and then we're going to have David Schwartz comments here absolutely destroying the XRP FUD because it's all pure lies. Now, there are some points that are fair, okay? If you don't want to invest in XRP, that's okay. That's fine. I'm not here to say that everybody needs to have XRP. Might want to take a look at it, especially the returns over the past month in this new reality of a second Trump term. But what we are not going to allow happen is just downright lies and misrepresentation, misinformation. And misinformation gets spread because of the misconceptions about XRP, but then there's a devious intent behind the disinformation that these guys continue to spread who know better. These guys know better, but they're in full panic, and they've exposed themselves, but now we're going to let David destroy them with his own comments. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell. My name's Zach Rector, and we come here every single day to bring you guys the news that matters most when it comes to current events, financial markets, and how we can get tapped into the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Let's get started by taking a look at these charts. If you've been looking to get a little dip on XRP, it did come through. Bitcoin came all the way down here to 93.6 this morning. ETH is hanging out here at 3,500, little back test. And then XRP did come back down here to $2.29. So $2.30 special. I asked the question yesterday, are we less than 24 hours away from seeing XRP go above $3? Is this our final hours? Is this our final days for XRP to be under $3? Are we never going to go back below it again? XLM back to 50 cents right now. Nice little back test. If you want the 2-for-1 special on XLM, you still can get it. Flare, little pump up to 3.8, nearly 4 cents yesterday. Back test right here, and here we are sitting right now at about 3 cents. I'm going to update my measurement. That's a full swing of about 218% for Flare. Still lagging XRP and XLM. XDC, I bought more XDC and Flare yesterday. Okay, so I bought XDC at 7 cents and some Flare at 3 cents. I'm going to be happy to hold those for the rest of the bull run. Another one that I picked up about a week or so ago was the SAY token. Picked it up at 58 cents. Here it is. Went up to 70, but it's back tested at 65 cents right now. But the big one yesterday. See, I had a target order to buy HBAR here. I was trying to get this sucker down at 11 cents. I'd placed my order, but you can see right here, Tuesday of last week. That's when I'd placed my order, but we only went down to 12.5 cents. So I missed that opportunity. And like so many that are buying in higher on XRP, well, that was me yesterday buying in higher. I think I bought in 26 cent HBAR here. And then this guy went all the way up to nearly 40 cents this morning. Huge run for HBAR. And you can see now that this swing low from before the election to where we just went was an 800% move for HBAR. So a huge shout out to all the community here that's held that token. It's like we're seeing a rotation, right? Typically you see this crypto rotation from Bitcoin into Ethereum and then the alts, or at least that's how the previous cycles have played out. Well, there's like this same rotation where XRP is the leader in these utility coins. And now that XRP is chilling off a little bit, folks start to allocate. I mean, just like myself, right? I went and bought Flare. That's connected to XRP. I went and bought XDC. That's in that group, right? The 3Xs. And then I went and bought some HBAR, right? And for those of you guys that took advantage of HBAR, well, it was at literally, this was at 4 cents. HBAR was at 4 cents right before the election, up to 40 cents this morning. That's nearly a 10x, a massive, massive move for HBAR. So congratulations for those of you guys that held on to that one. But let's get right on into it, folks. I did want to show you here real quick. XRP still in the 3 spot, $138 billion market cap. We got to watch this closely because Tether's catching up on us again. And I like holding that 3 spot for now. I like holding that one while we make our move here towards the first two. Jacob King here. Bitcoin is bleeding while XRP surges as investors grow both riled up and excited. The silence and fear among Bitcoin holders are palpable as their worst nightmare unfolds. It's only a matter of time before XRP surpasses Ethereum and ultimately claims the throne as the #1 crypto. Whoa. Whoa, Jacob. Don't get these guys too scared here. Rajat Soni, apparently he's a financial advisor. He says, I find it crazy that so many people are messaging me about XRP. If you can't see this as a scam, you deserve to be scammed. The way that the price is rising is not natural. This is not how markets work. Can anyone explain why XRP has risen 435% since November 2nd and only 11% since 2018? Seems like a pump and dump to me. You would be right that this isn't natural. It's called artificial suppression and massive damages caused by our government in the SEC. So no, it is not normal, and you should get caught up to speed. And it's a failure for your duty per your clients, whoever is your client. Because I can't imagine paying any of these guys a dime to manage my money or give me financial advice. I mean, how is your program working out? You can't even recognize what's taking place in front of you. And these guys, they just don't see it. Michael Arrington, he does. And that's why he invested in XRP a long time ago. Crypto's market cap has risen over $1 trillion since the election less than a month ago. One way to look at that, $1 trillion plus, is the cost of the regulatory burden the U.S. government placed on the industry. The market understands things are changing and it has repriced assets accordingly. Well, Michael, we better go explain this to Rajat because apparently he doesn't get it, along with many others. And Michael, he continues, XRP alone has gone up over 200 billion since the regime was booted out of office. So no, it is not normal. The pump here of almost 500% since the election is due to a change in regulatory environment, a change in administration, and suppression of the case coming to a conclusion. 2 plus 2 still equals 4 in new maths. When you're getting sued and drawn into a lawsuit for 4 years, nobody's buying in. Nobody's coming in, especially from an institutional perspective. There was a crazy group of retail buyers that, despite the damages, despite everything, we continue to buy with conviction. So cope harder is what I have to say to these clowns. Income sharks. Okay, here's another hot shot. 500,000 followers. He's a big deal. Over 43% of the XRP tokens are still not even circulating. Technically, they are. They're in existence. They are circulating. They're just held in Ripple's escrow wallet. But imagine if you were on Pump Fund and saw the developer own 43% of the supply. There's a reason this space collectively dislikes this token because it always is pumping and dumping. It's because we get bigger gains than everybody else. The 2017 gains blew away everybody else. The gain since the election is blowing away everybody else. Besides, H-Bar finally woke up. But you have to understand that 43% of the supply is in escrow. These guys want to run their little mouths and flap their little lips without even understanding the facts about XRP and how it's set up. They don't have access to it. And we have Credible Crypto down here that, explains that. The devs on Pump Fund don't have their 43% locked in a 5-year, mostly inaccessible escrow. And he says, yeah, it's an escrow that continues to unlock 1 billion tokens each month. But what are they doing with the 1 billion tokens? What did they do this month? They sent 800 million back to the escrow where it gets locked up again for another 40 months. And then with the rest of it, they're selling it to institutions that want to use it. Oh, I know. What a shocker. Institutions actually wanting to use a crypto, not just get consulted by a crypto company, not just do a little photo op, not just do a little pump fun, little activity like you guys are doing in the rest of the space. This is real utility and real gains. And that's what silences these guys the most, because I could sit up here and yell all day. The price action is what silences these guys the most and triggers them the most. You want to talk about supply and who has a supply and who you should be worried about really dumping on you? This is why the Bitcoin bros and a lot of these other chains too, they still have a lot of supply. They have the disguised Ethereum whales. And every other day, you see old Ethereum address brings in millions back to the exchanges to offload and dump on your heads. The Ethereum Foundation, what are they doing with their Ethereum? For crying out loud, there is no max supply on Ethereum. What are we talking about right now? For Bitcoin, there's nothing changing them from forking the code to expand and grow Bitcoin too. And you got problems like this one. U.S. government, this is not a hypothetical. This is watch what they do, not what they say. They're talking about a strategic reserve, and maybe they're getting ready to do that. But what they did here was move $1.92 billion worth of Bitcoin to a new address. So you guys better, fund Michael Saylor some more. Get somebody else to come in here and ape into Bitcoin while it's at 95,000, already in price discovery. You better find a new buyer, because that's the only game in town for Bitcoin, is to find somebody more stupid than you to buy Bitcoin at a higher price. Full stop. That's the Bitcoin game. Can I find a doofus moron to buy it at a higher price for me? And some of these guys are so silly that they're just holding on to their Bitcoin. Now, like I said, we wouldn't have any problem with these guys. We wouldn't have any problem with Bitcoin. It's the bullies that I'm responding to. For those of you guys that hold Bitcoin, nothing against you. You hold ETH, whatever, that's fine. That's not my point. My point's not the average person, the average developer, the average builder in the space is not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about these cocky guys that want to step up and stick out their little necks. And we're just going to continue to smack them with facts. It's very easy. We have all the facts on our side, and we always did. Now we have price action. Here's Justin Bonds, another one of these guys that wants to get smart with us. Let's go through it. Ripple is centralized and permissioned. False. If you're talking about the company, sure. Yeah, the company's centralized. Absolutely. XRP is misleading investors by lying about its decentralization. Well, XRP is a token. It can't lie. It can't speak. It can't give facts. It's an inanimate currency. The foundation has total control over the network. False. Foundation only runs one validator, I believe, XRPL Labs. So the foundation does not have any control over the network or any of the tokens. Attracting retail buyers with such false claims is straight up fraud. False. There was no fraud in the case. Never has been brought any fraud brought against Ripple. So that's actually fraud and lies to say that. That's a false claim. Justin Bonds, XRP consensus is based on unique node list. Literally centralized list of trusted nodes. Anybody can make a UNL. Anybody can make a UNL. XRP is not based on proof of stake or proof of work, but proof of authority. Not true. Okay, the consensus mechanism, we know it's different than proof of work and proof of stake. Not necessarily proof of authority. That's not a proper descriptor, right? But this is one of the advantages of the XRP ledger, and I'll let David explain that here shortly. This is all backed up by our own documentation. Yep, it is. It's there for everybody. It is completely trustless, permissionless. Anybody can run their node. Users can modify their own UNL, choosing who to trust. Exactly, decentralization. Just like with the Bitcoin network, you can choose which software you want to run. If you want to fork Bitcoin, you can, which is why there's been so many forks, right? Truly decentralized cryptocurrencies are trustless, and that zero trust is required. Okay, yeah, there is zero, trust as far as this network, and for those who want to use this network, right? Anybody can join in and make their case. What needs to happen is you need to come to a consensus. There's a difference. It's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of the network won't move forward unless there's a consensus. Versus Bitcoin, where you can move the network forward, you could just fork it, or if you have enough money, you have enough mining and hash power, you can move the network forward on your own. In the XRP ledger consensus model, you just need to come to a consensus. You can do whatever the hell you want, but if nobody's going to agree with you, then you're going to run your own software, you're going to run your own deal and do your own deal. Nobody's going to trust you or agree with you. But even if they do agree with you, it doesn't necessarily mean they need to trust you. It's just an agreement on consensus. And that's the best part about the best incentive is no incentive. People are in this network running these validators out of the not the goodness of their heart, but because they want to see the network go forward. They're not running it, and there is no way for them to manipulate it. So we continue on here. This is all it's just lies. It's just lies. I'm just going to skip down here because it's just full of lies. Get your validator on the recommended list. Exactly. The foundation has a list. Ripple has a list. There was a new group that came out with a list. We have a new DAO that just got created too. So, we have a lot that's coming in the form of community governance, community participation. And the fact of the matter is that Ripple only runs one of 35 validators that are on the UNL list. One validator out of 35. It's nowhere near controlled by Ripple, the foundation, any of that. Let's see what David Schwartz has to say. He absolutely destroys this FUD. David says, you are completely focused on a detail that absolutely does not matter in any realistic way. Validators are not compensated. They cannot censor unless node operators configure their code to allow them to. They do resolve the double spend problem, but honest users don't double spend anyway, and so have no real reason to care how that problem is solved. About all they can do is engage in short-term control over the ordering of transactions over a few seconds. But even that requires lots of validator operators to conspire, whereas proof-of-work systems let anyone with money do that. So like I said, you could do your own deal, but if nobody's going to come to consensus with you, you're just playing around. And so you'd have to conspire with 80%, not 51% like proof-of-work, right? You'd have to conspire with 80% of the validators to get that consensus. It's much more secure than proof-of-work or proof-of-stake. Even Bitcoin's decentralization does not come from proof-of-work. That does not decentralize the creation of Bitcoin, but that's it. Bitcoin is censorship resistant because its users would not stand for censorship, and if miners conspire to reorganize the blockchain or censor, the check is that users would not stand for it, and do not have to stand for it because they can change the code. The decentralization of the most modern blockchains comes from the following. All transactions are public. All transaction rules are public. There are no privileged entities that can violate transaction rules or arbitrarily modify system state. Participants are free to run whatever code they want to use the system, and in practice, they do enforce all transaction rules on state transitions. There is no legal or technical means that particular entities can keep control of the system. If users don't like the system rules, they are free to change them with the sole restriction that they cannot compel those who disagree with them to interoperate. There is some short-term mechanism that reasonably provides some level of system fairness with users free to adjust or change the mechanism if they are unhappy. This is true of every decentralized system. Proof of work requires you to trust whoever has lots of money with the short-term operation of the system. Proof of authority doesn't. So I guess, David would describe our system as proof of authority, but this is a critical point right here. That with this system, someone with a lot of money on proof of work can take control of the network. And remember, before China banned Bitcoin, there was 4 large mining pools in China that had over 60% of the Bitcoin network's hash rate. At the time, this was a few years ago, I was warning the community. I said, guys, this is not good. Bitcoin is controlled right now primarily by 4 large mining pools in China. And guess what? For Ethereum, it was just as bad. 6 large mining pools did about 70 or 80% of the mining back when Ethereum was proof of work as well, right? So the best thing that ever happened for Bitcoin and Ethereum was when China banned it, because then the decentralization of the miners actually got to kind of happen. Still, large mining pools, there's a group of large mining pools that really do control the network. So not much has changed in that regard, but at least they're not all entities in China. So Bitcoin's proof of work requires you to accept that whoever has the most money gets the most control over the short-term fairness of the network. XRP's proof of authority doesn't. It requires validators to conspire to game the system, and so only requires validators unlikely to conspire en masse to protect against the block ordering that Bitcoin requires you to just accept. You really could make the argument that XRP Ledger is even more decentralized than Bitcoin, right? They both have some advantages, and that's the thing. These guys want to come on out and attack us and say that we're centralized and spread all these false misrepresentations and just borderline disinformation as downright lies. These guys understand the tech and they know better, but they're twisting things in a way that really paints the XRP Ledger in a centralized negative light, while not addressing that, it is completely decentralized. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's just like these other bullies. If you don't like it, that's fine. If XRP is not your deal, that's fine. You go make your money somewhere else. You guys got these names, Income Shark, financial advisor. Okay, yeah, sure. You're missing out on gains over here, but I'll just assume that you're making some money elsewhere. And that's fine, right? That's the thing. We're all here for this space. We want to be friends with this space. The XRP army has come now into the XRP family. We're putting our shields away. We're putting our sword down. Our battle with the SEC is over. We're ready to build bridges and come together. But why? Why so many attacks against XRP? Now, final point here that I want to make here real quick, guys. Watch this closely. ROUSD could be going live tomorrow. Ripple stablecoin tracker showing us that we did get another $10 million another 10 million ROUSD printed on XRP scan. That came in yesterday. So let's watch that here closely. On the way out, if you guys could tap it, smack it, share it out far and wide with me. Everything else is at zachrector.com. I appreciate you so much. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.